Welp, I think it is official. We are going to have to start a GoFundMe to get me out of town to do more golfing because apparently when I am gone, the Mariners decide to play their best baseball of the season. I will gladly take that sacrifice for the team. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners series recap. The Mariners sweep the Texas Rangers. They improve to 8-8 on the season. And I think for the first time, 100% for the first time this year, as the team has now won 4 in a row, I feel good about this baseball team for the first time this season. Not that they haven't had a couple good moments, like opening day was fun. Their Sunday win over the A's was fun. Winning game 1 against the Astros was fun. But in order to really get it going, you have to put together some winning streaks. You have to get some back-to-back wins. You got to get going a little bit. That's what gets fans bought in, seeing it on 2 nights, not seeing it one night, then off the next night, then on the following night. You'll win some games doing that, but you can't string it together and really get people bought in and believing. So really for the first time, it feels like baseball is on, like it's go time. Before I dive any further, as always, do me a favor, smash the like button. It helps out the video tremendously. Don't forget to hit subscribe. My goal is 5,000, but I'm closing in on, I think, 4,300 or 4,400, 47. I don't know where I'm even at right now, but hit that subscribe button and don't forget to comment your thoughts down below on the team and on the games this weekend. So I did not get to watch any of these games. I've watched some of the highlights, but you can't take away a lot. So I can't break down a lot of like, oh, hey man, he hit the ball hard here, but didn't get anything to show for it. Or, hey, Dan's decision here in this inning didn't make sense or did make sense. So that stuff, just going to leave it out. I did do a quick recap on Friday. I was really impressed. What I'm kind of going to do is just go through each game and give a couple talking points that just got me excited. This is going to be an optimistic video. The team's won 4 in a row, back to 500. And listen, we're 16 games in. Even when the team is losing and I say, hey, it's early, right? Take a deep breath. It goes the other way too, right? If the Mariners were 12-4, you'd say it's early. We should be excited, but take a deep breath. But it's nice to get back to 500 because that's when you can go, okay, reset time. Now, if you win 4 or 5 in a row, you're 13-8, 12-8, and you're cooking. That's the key. You've got to get back to center a little bit. And that's what the team's been able to do here. Definitely a rocky start with the season. 4-8 was not fun, but it also shows that, like, when I'm saying to people it's early, I'm not trying to be like a jackass about it and be like, oh, don't be frustrated, it's early. But I mean, we're 16 games in, and I feel like we've already gone through 3 peaks and valleys, right? Opening day was amazing. Then they lose the next 2. Then they win. You go, hey, a split's okay. Then they play Detroit and they lose the first 2 and the team looks brutal. They find a way to beat Scoobal. Okay, back up. Giants sweep them, win the first against the Astros, lose that brutal extra inning game. And I ripped the team during that game. So I'm not saying that like people were wrong for ripping them, but here they come and win 4 in a row and all this. And we've played 16 of 162. There is so much more baseball to go. Even if they hang around 500 through May, they're going to be right there. Another takeaway I have from this weekend, this AL West is so winnable. Are the Mariners going to win it? I don't know, but I don't think they're decisively worse than Texas and Houston. Anaheim's off to a nice start. Did they win today against the Astros? They lost. So, I mean, are the Angels going to stay up at the top? I don't think so. They might be better, but, Trout can't stay healthy, and I don't know about that pitching staff. The A's are better, but I don't think they're quite there yet. But even if you want to throw all 5 teams in the mix, I mean, do you really think the Mariners are that much worse than these other teams? I don't. I'm not saying they're going to win the division. They very well may not be. This team has warts. They have holes. But I think this homestand showed that they went 5-1 against Houston and Texas, that they can definitely compete. Beating teams doesn't always mean, especially in baseball, that you're better than the other team. The White Sox can beat the Yankees or Dodgers 2 out of 3. It wouldn't be like the wildest thing that's ever happened in baseball. It's just there's so many games that there's so many small sample sizes that happen. But I think it does show that the Mariners are at least there, right? Will they come out in top? I don't know. Maybe those other teams just have a little more juice, but they're not like far behind where it's the Mariners winning the AL West is not some crazy concept that just has no chance of happening. That's a big takeaway for me this weekend. Oh, Ben Williamson has been called up. Dom Canzone back down. Not going to lie, completely forgot Canzone was actually still on the roster this weekend. It's the right move. If Williamson can just hit like to a 90 WRC plus or a 647 OPS and play elite defense, this roster looks complete now. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying Rowdy Tellez, Donovan Solano is going to set the world on fire. But now, you feel good at catcher. Hopefully, and Tellez actually had a nice series against Texas here, so I'll give him his props. Tellez and Solano, okay at first. Mastroboni, Demo at second. JP at short. Third, now you have Williamson. Polanco's your DH. Randy in left, Julio in center. Luke's in right field. Dylan Moore can play out there at times. Then Leo Rivas can play some second while Demo's in right. Maybe Polanco can play the field a couple times to give Williamson a day off, or Rivas can play third, and then Mastroboni can play third. So I like the move with Williamson. I think it was the correct call. I talked about it after a game last week or one of the Astros games. It just makes sense. I don't know how good Williamson's going to be, but I know this: you're going to have a third baseman that can make the throw to first base. That alone makes it him an asset, and he's going to play good defense at third base. We'll see. Hopefully they're not just going to play him part time. He should be out there most of the time. Give him the at bats, see if he can grow into it, and who knows? Like, the bat might play. He might not ever be a power hitter, but if you can put some balls in the gap, I don't really care. It's as long as you're putting up good numbers. Doesn't matter if they necessarily go over the fence or not. It put some singles in place, some doubles. Like you said, if he provides maybe 647 is a little low, like a 665 OPS or something, a 90 WRC plus, and is an elite defender at third, that is going to have value, especially on this baseball team that needs a good defensive third baseman. They're struggling over there. They need it. They need some stability there. It's going to allow Jorge Polanco, who is mashing the baseball, to continue to play at DH. I'm not saying Tellez Solano is going to be the answer at first, but for right now, you kind of feel okay about the way they're playing. Mastroboni may not be the answer at second, but he's playing well, so you feel okay with him and Demo there. Rivas, you've got a guy in Leo Rivas who can play everywhere off the bench. That's going to help you in certain situations. You feel, okay, Rayleigh was going to play first. Now he's back and right. That's totally fine. That is fine. Probably better suited out there anyways, and go from there. You got Garver who can DH a little bit and catch. So you do feel, I just feel better about this roster. Maybe Williamson stinks. I don't know, but excited to see what he can do. Okay, Friday, I thought they did a real nice job against Jacob deGrom. Thornton struggled a bit in that sixth inning. Rough first inning for Bryce Miller, but I thought he rebounded well. I guess they're using the torpedo bats now. Cal Raleigh with the home run on Friday with the torpedo bat. I haven't checked all that, but that's what I was seeing online. So all good things there. Munoz locks it down. Good way to start the series with a W. Especially a game that felt losable with deGrom on the mound. Was really happy with their effort. How good is Brian Wu? I will continue to sing his praises as the Mariners win game 2 of this series, 9-3. I'm not sure what the final ended up being, but they won pretty easily. Wu gets in trouble in the first inning, gives up a run, then his bases loaded, nobody out, and gets out of that, only allowing the one run. That inning could have easily gotten away. And I've talked about before, you get down 3-4-0 early. It is tough for an offense because you're playing with a different mindset now. Should you play with a different mindset? Probably not. You should probably go up there and just go, hey, get a run this inning, a run in the fourth, run in the seventh. You're right back in this thing, but you're playing catch up. Keeping it at 1-0 had to give that team momentum going in and swinging the bats. And it just felt like one of those games where once they kept it at 1-0, maybe it was just me, but it felt like they were going to win that one after that happened. So I don't have the box score, but I know Rowdy Tellez homered on Friday, which is great to see. Had an almost triple yesterday. Cal homers again yesterday. Julio has the triple and the base hit. Was that Friday? Sorry, I apologize. Not the best recap, but a great win. I still will maintain Brian Wu will be in the Cy Young conversation when this season ends. And then ends up going 7 innings. Remember when Wu was like, we were lucky if he got 4 1/3 or 5 innings? That was long. Stay healthy, Brian. Just stay healthy, because now he is going deeper in the games. And to be able to go 7 after that first inning is really, really impressive. Only downside from yesterday, I think when Troy Taylor, and Matt Brash pitched in Tacoma today. So more good news. I think Troy Taylor's on a rehab assignment too. He's got an option. I'd send down Gregory Santos. I mean, to not have a strikeout yet, and he is keeping the ball on the ground, but he's giving up hard contact, at least from what I've seen. Gave up a run yesterday. It was in a mop-up 9-1 game. Shouldn't judge guys too much on a game like that. But right now, when you look at the bullpen, who else would you send down for Taylor or Brash? It's got to be Santos. I mean, maybe Casey. Lugamina's up, right? Because they optioned Luis F. Castillo. Boy, I go out of town. It never fails. It's never just a quiet 2 games. There's always multiple roster moves. You got Williamson coming up. I think Legumina's up right now. I'll get caught up tomorrow and everything. And Castillo went down. So I think Casey Lawrence is still in the bullpen. You could option Lawrence, but you'd have to make another move for both Brash and Taylor. Right now it's Santos, right? I mean, Bizzardo's throwing the ball well. He's not perfect, but he's been better than Santos. Trent Thornton's had some hiccups, but like today, he was great. He's been better than Santos. He's been more reliable. Carlos Vargas has been outstanding. I saw people today like debating, like, oh, do you DFA Vargas? Heck no, you don't DFA Vargas. He's been like your second best reliever behind Munoz, maybe behind Spire as well. Vargas has looked nasty. He looks like a gem. I mean, I am on the Carlos Vargas train in the bullpen, 100%. I'm not picking anybody. I just saw some comments, people saying like, do you still DFA Vargas? Like, how are we even asking that? Heck no. No way you are DFAing Carlos Vargas. He's been absolutely fantastic. And it's cool to see that trade is giving the Mariners something, right? It looked like a complete nothing burger. And at least, would you rather have an everyday third baseman that's slugging than a reliever? Of course. And I haven't checked in to see how Gino's doing. I know he's off to a hot start, but at least gives you, I'd also rather have a really good reliever than nothing. So, but Vargas continues to be really good. So yeah, I think Santos has to be your odd man out here. When Taylor and Brash are ready, which maybe sooner rather than later if they're throwing down Tacoma, especially for Taylor, because his wasn't an arm injury or anything. So you think he'd be able to work his way up here, possibly on the road trip, potentially. Maybe Brash then on the next homestand. I think they'll be a little more patient. Not patient, that's not the right, a little more careful with Brash, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see Taylor. You might even be able to see Taylor on Tuesday, honestly. I mean, they could just option Legumina or Lawrence, but I'd rather see Santos work on some things because Lawrence does give you some innings. If you run into a game where you get down 6-0, I don't think it's the worst thing to have a Casey Lawrence that can just go 4 innings and just soak up the rest of the game for you, and who cares? Legumina we haven't seen yet, so I don't know. But, I'm not going to fight it if they optioned him over Santos, but I would give Legumina a shot and send Santos down. So looking at today's game, Mariners win at 3-1 to finish the sweep. Knocking my mic as the Mariners bring out the brooms. Great sweep, back to 500, like I said. And, doing it pretty convincingly. I know 2-run wins aren't super convincing, but if they do outscore the Rangers by 10, 11 runs in this series. So they do really outplay them. Friday was a close one. Yesterday was a blowout. Today was same run difference as Friday, but you kind of felt like the Mariners were in control the whole way. I was kind of following it, trying to listen on the radio when I had service. And it didn't sound like it was ever like, oh man, Rangers lowered them up and Mariners were lucky to get out of it. There was one inning where I think there was a leadoff double that Logan allowed that he worked around. Truthfully, it was the Mariners that should have had more runs in the bottom of the 6th. Bases loaded, nobody out. Randy gets hit by the pitch to make it 3-1. And they should have added on more. It's a tough at-bat there by Solano, struggled. And then you had Rayleigh against a lefty, which is tough. And then was it Rivas or was Mastroboni against the lefty? It's going to be tough. And so there's still warts, right? Like that's not good. They had a chance to break that game open. They really should have scored 4 or 5, not that inning, but been total at 4 or 5 after that. Solano's got to put up a better at bat in that situation. Mastroboni's been good, but you can see where there is weakness in the game. So I don't want to be so optimistic where it's like, when they're down, I'm going, hey, be patient. When they're good, I'm going, screw it, this team's great. Like, there are warts. There are definitely warts on this roster. But, this is kind of, again, how this team can win a lot of games. When Cal is cooking, home run in every game this series, Julio's playing well, and then a couple of those other guys get going a little bit. You get some production from a Rowdy Tellez. Randy gets going. Polo doing his thing. You see games like Friday and Saturday where the offense can be really, really good. This is not the worst offense in baseball. I've heard that. I've seen that. They are not. Go watch the Marlins, Rockies, and White Sox and tell me the Mariners offense is the worst. It has stretches where it is tough to watch. And I'm not saying they're good, but when things are clicking, and I know every team could probably say, oh, when this is clicking, we're good. But I mean, like, Cal and Julio are capable. Cal this series with a home run in every game. He is capable of having those series. Julio is capable of going off. Randy's capable. Polanco. And when they do that, this team is dangerous. This team is a really dangerous team that truthfully could win 90 games when they're playing like they did on Saturday. But they're also capable of a game like today where they're not great. Cal gets the home run in the first inning and they add on some hit by pitches later. But they do enough, right? They've got the starting pitching. Logan dominant today with 5 innings. Wasn't at his best early on from what I saw, but settled in, did a good job. Actually, all 3 pitchers kind of started out a little iffy, then settled in. But you saw that this series, right? Bryce Miller, not at his best, but got the job done. Wu started out sluggish and dominated the rest of the way. LoganGilbert today. So they don't always have to have those 9-run games. They can do it, but they can also do the 3-1 game or the 5-3 game. So this team can beat you a lot of different ways when it's on, and the bullpen's starting to take shape a little bit too. Gabe Spire is back to 2023 Gabe Spire. Vargas looks like, I don't want to say diamond in the rough, but we'll say a little bit of a diamond in the rough. Munoz is Munoz. Trent Thornton's fine. I know he makes us nervous when he comes in. Don't tell me he doesn't. I know for me, even though I think he's good, he still makes me a little nervous. But Trent Thornton's capable. He's going to have his moments. He's not a perfect reliever. We saw it on Friday, right? He's going to have games where he just gives it up. But he's also going to have games like he did against Houston on Monday where he was dominant. Today, where he was really good. So you've got the rotation. George Kirby hopefully coming back soon. You have Troy Taylor, Matt Brash already making rehab assignments. And you have a lineup that is starting to find its groove a little bit here. So again, not perfect, but there's a lot of reasons for optimism in this team. Logan goes 5 innings, stay 3 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 Ks. Again, didn't see it, but nice start from LoganGilbert. Nice to see him get a W. I know that, obviously pitchers should not be judged by wins and losses, but pitchers deserve wins sometimes. And Logan's a guy that deserves to have more than 1 win. And if this is Logan at his worst, that's pretty darn good. So great outing from Logan. Gabe Spire with a shutout 6th. Vargas a shutout 7th. Thornton a shutout 8th. By the way, those 3 guys combined for 3 innings, no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Beautiful, right? That's what you want. Not putting anybody on base. Great outings from the 3 of them. Then Munoz locks up in the 9th. Does give up a hit, but strikes out 2 for his 6th save already of the year. Great seeing Gabe Spire back. Vargas has been fantastic. And Trent Thornton has been good. And those home run numbers will probably even out a little, but I don't think he'll give up quite as many. He's been better than a 4.7 ERA, in my opinion. Offense, 6 hits, no walks. They also did, listen, another thing too, they faced some good pitching in this series. Evaldi is good. They weren't facing me out there today. That's one thing we have to take into consideration too. Best offensive performance of the year? No. But Evaldi is a good pitcher. If this was a playoff series, and the Rangers are definitely a team if the Mariners get to the playoffs that they could face, you would take that any day against Evaldi. They got him out after 5. They worked up the pitch count a little bit, got some hits. Cal banged one deep off of him. That didn't come out right, but they did fine. DeGrom, did they light him up for 8 runs in 3 innings? No, but they got him for 3 and 5. They worked some walks. They didn't strike out as much. Rocker, they got the pitch count up and did some damage against him. They had a good offensive series. I don't know how well Rocker's been pitching this year, but he's got really good stuff. We know how good DeGrom can be, and Eovaldi is, I don't know if I'd call him like a top tier pitcher, but he's really good. He is a really good pitcher. Like, this was a good series of course it was. Anytime you sweep somebody, it's a good series, but this is a good Rangers ball club that they swept. A Rangers team that's been playing well to start the season, and they came into Seattle and got their butts whooped in 3 games. There were some close ones, like Friday and today were close. But again, today, did you ever really feel like the Mariners didn't have it? Kind of felt like they were in control the whole way. And it kind of felt like that Friday until Thornton gave up that home run as well. And then Saturday, they dominated. So this is a great homestand, guys. They just went 5-1 against Houston and Texas. People, they got to win the division. They did that. They took care of business on this homestand. We were frustrated with them. I didn't think there was any way after that Giants series they'd be 500 after this homestand. Now you got a chance going to Cincinnati Tuesday with Luis Castillo, the good one, the Rock on the mound, and you're above 500. All the frustrations that we've had, and rightfully so, but all that and a win on Tuesday, and they're 9-8 over 500. Perfectly fine. It is why, myself included, when I get super frustrated with that game, like the Astros game, doesn't mean you shouldn't be upset, but we do have to breathe. This is still so early in the season. It's April 13th. If we start going too much like this with the stress, we're not going to make it through 162. The Mariners are going to go through a stretch where they lose some games again. They are. They're going to have a 3-7 stretch again at some point. But maybe, they've won 4 in a row. This is a 10-game road trip for them, and not, let's say 9. I think it's 9. What if they go 6-3? Then they have a 10-3 run. Then you're sitting there at 14-11, I think was where you'd be. And is that crazy? Is it crazy that they win the series in Cincinnati, in Toronto, and Boston? I don't think those teams are I know Boston's been a house of horrors for the Mariners, and Toronto, actually all 3 kind of have been. But just in terms of the teams and not looking at, in a 5-game sample size, we've struggled at this ballpark. Mariners aren't markedly worse than these teams. This is not a 9-game road trip against the Dodgers. Not saying these are bad baseball teams. 6-3 could be 3-6. It absolutely could be. But it's just a lesson in patience for everybody, right? And again, 8-8, people are going, well, Jay, they're 8-8. That's not great. It's not. But they're back to square one, right? And it looks like some problems are being solved as well. Williamson, every day you're a step closer to Kirby being back. Brash and Taylor, Vargas emerging, Cal getting hot. Julio, where's Julio's OPS at right now? 754. Is it amazing? No, but probably his best April OPS. Polanco is mashing the ball. Mastroboni, another hit today, has been fine. Listen, Rowdy had a decent series. And even if you don't like Rowdy, he's not going to OPS 385. Solano's going to get some hits eventually. I think Garver's had some better at-bats. It's been limited, but there's been some okay contact from Mitch Garver, who he pinched hit for Polanco today and went 1 for 1. Is JP going to be great? I don't know, but he's probably not going to be 543 OPS bad. The defense is about to get a heck of a lot better with Ben Williamson coming in. You're about to get an immediate upgrade at defense. Your bullpen might be very close here to being completely locked down. Be patient. Brash is coming off Tommy John. We never know. But Troy Taylor was excellent last year. Let's say Brash is fine and back to where he was. You have Munoz, Taylor, Brash, Vargas, Spire. Bizzardo can be nasty. Thornton is good, and now Thornton's going to be able to be pushed back and be more dangerous in the earlier innings. And an offense that can be fine. You should be optimistic about the team right now. We'll let the pessimism come if they lose some games. So, great series sweep. Again, let's get that GoFundMe going so I can be out of town for more golf. Again, a sacrifice I will unfortunately gladly make for everybody. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, As always, I'll be back. Well, I'll be back Tuesday. I think they're off tomorrow, right? I got to get my schedule back in line here. But I'll be back Tuesday for the post-game recap against the Reds. And as always, go Mariners. Let's go. Huge sweep. Peace.